So I've been thinking a lot lately about my setup, not just the main pieces like the computer or the monitor, but the ecosystem of gadgets that surrounds it. The little things that individually might seem minor, but together, they create an environment where I can actually get things done. It's this constant, subtle optimization that I think a lot of us are chasing. We're all looking for that edge, that extra bit of focus or efficiency that can make a real difference in our day. And honestly, it's not about spending a ton of money on the most expensive gear. It's about being intentional with the tools you choose and how they fit into your workflow. This isn't just about tech for tech's sake. It's about building a system that works for you, one that removes friction and lets you dive deep into whatever you're working on. Whether it's coding, editing video, writing, or just getting through a mountain of emails, the right tools can be a game changer. They can turn a frustrating, distraction-filled day into a smooth, productive session. It's the difference between fighting your tools and having them feel like a natural extension of your own focus. Today, I want to walk you through 5 specific pieces of tech that have genuinely leveled up my own productivity. These are gadgets that have earned their spot on my desk, not because they're flashy, but because they solve real everyday problems that get in the way of deep work. They've helped me stay in the zone, manage my time better, and just make the whole process of working feel more seamless. This is my current productivity toolkit. Want to work smarter, not harder? These 5 gadgets will level up your productivity. Alright, first up, and this one might be the most important for me personally, a solid pair of noise-canceling headphones. It's easy to think of headphones as just for music or podcasts, but their true superpower for productivity is creating a bubble of silence. In a world that is constantly vying for our attention with dings, pings, and background chatter, the ability to just shut it all out is, frankly, priceless. It's the digital equivalent of putting a do not disturb sign on your brain. When I put these on, it's like flipping a switch. The low hum of the air conditioner, the traffic outside, the conversation happening in the next room, it all just fades into the background. This isn't just about comfort. It's about cognitive load. Every little sound your brain has to process, even subconsciously, is a tiny drain on your mental resources. By eliminating those distractions, you're freeing up that bandwidth to be used for what actually matters, the task at hand. It's the foundation for deep work. Think about those moments when you're really in the flow, when ideas are connecting and you're making real progress. The slightest interruption can completely derail that train of thought. Getting back into that state can take minutes, sometimes longer. Active noise cancellation, or ANC, acts as a guardian for your focus, protecting that fragile state of concentration from the outside world. It's a proactive measure, not a reactive one. You're not just dealing with distractions, you're preventing them from ever reaching you. The technology itself is pretty fascinating. Microphones on the outside of the ear cups listen to the ambient noise, and then the headphones generate an opposite sound wave, an anti-noise, that effectively cancels it out. The result is this cone of silence that you can carry with you. Whether you're in a busy open-plan office, a bustling coffee shop, or just a noisy home environment, you can instantly create your own private workspace. It's an incredible tool for anyone who needs to concentrate. And you don't have to be listening to anything either. Sometimes the best use for ANC headphones is just the silence itself. No music, no podcasts, just the absence of distracting noise. It gives your mind the space it needs to think clearly and creatively without the constant barrage of auditory input. It's a simple concept, but the impact it can have on your ability to focus for extended periods is profound. It's not an exaggeration to say they've become essential. Now there are a ton of options out there, from over-ear models that provide maximum immersion to in-ear buds that are more portable. The key is finding a pair that is comfortable enough to wear for hours on end. If they're pinching your head or feel heavy, they become a distraction in themselves, which defeats the whole purpose. So, comfort is just as important as the quality of the noise cancellation. A good fit means you'll forget you're even wearing them. I've tested dozens of pairs, and the top-tier models from brands like Sony, Bose, and Apple are all incredible. They each have their own strengths in terms of sound quality, comfort, and feature sets. But the core function, that powerful ANC, is what we're here for. It's about creating an environment where you can perform at your best, regardless of what's happening around you. It's a non-negotiable for my desk setup. You might also consider the transparency mode feature that many of these headphones now have. With the press of a button, you can let outside sound in, so you can have a quick conversation or be aware of your surroundings without taking the headphones off. This versatility makes them even more practical for a dynamic work environment. You get the best of both worlds, total isolation when you need it, and awareness when you don't. Ultimately, investing in a great pair of noise-canceling headphones is investing in your own focus. It's a tool that pays for itself in reclaimed time and improved quality of work. By blocking out the noise, you're not just making your workspace quieter, you're making your mind quieter. And in that quiet, you can find the clarity you need to be truly productive. It's the first gadget on my list for a reason. For me, this is step one. Before you can optimize your time or your typing speed, you have to be able to control your environment and create the conditions for concentration. Noise-canceling headphones are the most effective way I've found to do that. They are the gatekeepers of my focus, and once you get used to that level of control, it's really, really hard to go back to working without them. So once you've got your bubble of silence, the next battle is managing the clock. Time is our most finite resource, and yet it's so easy to lose track of it. This is where the second gadget comes in, a smartwatch. I know for some people it's just a notification machine, another source of distraction, but if you're intentional with how you set it up, a smartwatch can become a powerful tool for time management and productivity right on your wrist. The key is to tame the notifications. By default, a smartwatch will mirror everything from your phone, which is the opposite of what we want. The first thing I do is go into the settings and turn off almost everything. Social media, news alerts, random app pings, they all go. I only allow notifications from essential communication apps and, most importantly, my calendar and task manager. This transforms the watch from a distraction engine into a focused productivity companion. Now, instead of pulling me out of my work, it gently keeps me on track. A subtle vibration on my wrist tells me a meeting is starting in 10 minutes. It's discreet enough that it doesn't break my flow, but present enough that I don't miss it. I don't have to constantly check my phone or have my calendar open on my screen, taking up valuable real estate. The watch becomes a personal silent assistant, managing my schedule in the background. One of the most powerful features for me is using it for time tracking, specifically with techniques like the Pomodoro method. I can set a timer for a 25-minute work sprint directly on my watch. When the timer goes off, a quiet tap on the wrist lets me know it's time for a 5-minute break. This whole cycle is managed without ever touching my phone or getting distracted by other apps. It helps structure my day and ensures I'm taking regular breaks to stay fresh. Beyond just timers, many smartwatches integrate with to-do list and task management apps. I can quickly glance at my wrist to see my next priority without getting sucked into the digital rabbit hole of my phone or computer. Checking off a completed task with a tap provides a little hit of dopamine and keeps the momentum going. It's a small thing, but these little workflow optimizations add up throughout the day, reducing friction and keeping you focused on what's next. The health tracking features also play a surprising role in productivity. The watch reminds me to stand up and move around every hour. It might seem like an interruption, but these stand reminders are crucial for breaking up long, sedentary sessions. Stepping away from the desk for a minute or two can help clear your head, prevent burnout, and often leads to a breakthrough on a problem you were stuck on. It's a reminder that productivity isn't just about grinding, it's about sustainable effort. Another subtle benefit is how it changes your relationship with your phone. When a call or an important message comes in, I can see who it is on my wrist. I can then make a quick decision. Is this urgent enough to warrant picking up my phone and breaking my focus? More often than not, it isn't. The watch acts as a filter, allowing you to triage interruptions without fully disengaging from your work. You can also customize watch faces to be productivity focused. Instead of a photo, I use a face that shows my next calendar event, my activity rings, the weather, and a shortcut to my timers or to-do list. This turns the watch into a dashboard for my day. At a single glance, I have all the key information I need to stay on schedule and on task. It's about having the right information at the right time with the least possible friction. Think of it this way. Your computer is for doing the work, but your watch is for managing the work. It orchestrates your schedule, protects your focus by filtering notifications, and encourages healthy habits that support sustained productivity. It's not about the flashy features. It's about the subtle background support it provides. It takes the mental load of time management off your plate, so you can dedicate that energy to the actual work itself. So, if you've dismissed the smartwatch as just another gadget, I'd encourage you to give it a second look, but with a specific intention. Set it up not as a mirror of your phone, but as a dedicated, wrist-mounted productivity tool. Tame the notifications, leverage the timers and task integrations, and use it to build a structured, focused, and healthier workday. It's a small device that can have a surprisingly big impact on how you manage your most valuable asset, your time. Alright, we've controlled our environment and we're managing our time. The next bottleneck in any digital workflow is often data transfer. Whether you're a video editor moving massive project files, a photographer offloading a shoot, or just someone who needs to back up important work quickly, waiting for files to copy is a productivity killer. That's where gadget number 3 comes in, a portable SSD. For years we relied on portable hard drives, those clunky mechanical things that spin up and are painfully slow, and let's not even talk about their fragility. Drop one and you could lose everything. A portable solid-state drive, or SSD, changes the game completely. It uses flash memory, the same kind of technology that's in your smartphone or a USB flash drive, but on a much larger and faster scale. There are no moving parts, which makes them incredibly durable. But the real headline feature here is speed. The difference between a traditional portable hard drive, an HDD, and a portable SSD is night and day. We're not talking about a 10 or 20% improvement, we're talking about speeds that are 5, 10, even 20 times faster, depending on the model and connection type, like Thunderbolt. A file transfer that might have taken 10 minutes on an HDD can be done in under a minute on an SSD. Think about what that means for your workflow. Instead of starting a file transfer and then going to make coffee because you know it's going to take forever, you can move huge files almost instantaneously. This keeps you in the flow. If you're collaborating with someone, you can pass project files back and forth without the massive downtime. It removes a significant point of friction and frustration from the creative or technical process. Beyond just speed, the durability is a huge peace of mind. I can toss a portable SSD in my backpack and not worry about it getting banged around. Because there are no moving platters or read-write heads, they are far more resistant to drops, shocks, and vibrations. For anyone who works on the go, traveling between home, the office, or client sites, this reliability is non-negotiable. Your data is your work, and keeping it safe is paramount. Portable SSDs have also gotten incredibly small and lightweight. Some are no bigger than a credit card and weigh next to nothing. This portability means you can carry terabytes of super-fast storage in your pocket. It's perfect for expanding the storage of a laptop that might have a smaller internal drive, or for keeping a complete high-speed backup of your entire system that you can take with you anywhere. Security is another key advantage. Many portable SSDs come with built-in hardware encryption. This means you can password protect your data, and it's encrypted at the hardware level, which is much more secure than software-based solutions. If you're carrying around sensitive client work or personal information, knowing that your data is secure even if you lose the drive is incredibly reassuring. It's a professional-grade feature that's now accessible to everyone. Let's look at a practical example: video editing. I often edit 4K or even 8K video files directly off a portable SSD. The drive is fast enough to handle multiple streams of high-resolution footage without dropping frames. This was simply impossible with portable HDDs. It allows for a flexible mobile workflow where my project files aren't tethered to a single, bulky desktop machine. I can edit on my laptop anywhere with the same performance as a high-end workstation. The cost of SSDs has also come down dramatically over the years. While they are still more expensive per gigabyte than traditional hard drives, the performance and durability benefits are, in my opinion, well worth the premium. When you factor in the value of the time you save and the security of your data, the investment makes a lot of sense. It's a tool that directly speeds up your work and protects its output. So, if you're still using a portable mechanical hard drive to move or back up your important files, upgrading to a portable SSD is one of the single biggest quality of life improvements you can make to your tech setup. The sheer speed will transform how you handle large files, the durability will give you peace of mind, and the compact size makes it a no-brainer for any mobile workflow. It's an essential piece of kit for the modern professional. Okay, so our focus is locked in, our time is managed, and our data is moving at light speed. But there's a physical reality to all this productivity heat. Modern laptops are incredibly powerful, but all that performance is packed into a very thin chassis. When you're pushing your machine for hours on end, rendering a video, compiling code, or even just juggling dozens of browser tabs, it's going to get hot. And heat is the enemy of performance. This leads us to our fourth gadget, and it's one that people sometimes overlook: a laptop cooling pad. It might seem like a simple accessory, but its function is critical. When a laptop's internal components, especially the CPU and GPU, get too hot, they engage in something called thermal throttling. This is a self-preservation mechanism where the computer intentionally slows itself down to reduce heat output and prevent damage. The result? Your super-fast laptop suddenly feels sluggish and unresponsive. A cooling pad is a straightforward solution to this problem. It's essentially a stand with one or more built-in fans that sits underneath your laptop. These fans actively push cool air onto the chassis of the laptop, helping to dissipate the heat that the internal fans are trying to expel. This additional airflow can make a significant difference, lowering the overall operating temperature of your machine by several degrees. By keeping the laptop cooler, you prevent or delay the onset of thermal throttling. This means your computer can maintain its peak performance for much longer. For those long, demanding work sessions, this is crucial. You get consistent, smooth performance from beginning to end without those frustrating slowdowns that always seem to happen right when you're in the middle of something important. There's another benefit to a cooling pad that's all about ergonomics. Most cooling pads are angled, which raises the back of your laptop. This puts the keyboard at a more comfortable typing angle and, more importantly, raises the screen to a better height for your posture. Instead of hunching over your laptop, you're encouraged to sit up straighter, which can significantly reduce neck and back strain over a long day. It's a 2-for-1 benefit: better performance and better ergonomics. Some people might think, well, my laptop has its own fans, isn't that enough? For light tasks, yes. But for sustained, heavy workloads, the built-in cooling systems in many thin and light laptops are just not robust enough to keep up. They're designed for portability and short bursts of activity, not for running at 100% for hours. A cooling pad provides the reinforcement that these systems need to handle pro-level work. They come in all shapes and sizes. Some are super quiet and designed for office environments, while others are more aggressive, with multiple fans and RGB lighting aimed at gamers. But the principle is the same. The key is to find one that matches the size of your laptop and has vents that align with your laptop's air intakes. This ensures the airflow is actually getting to where it needs to go. Think of it as an insurance policy for your laptop's performance and longevity. Consistently running a laptop at high temperatures is not good for the internal components. Over time, excessive heat can degrade the battery and even damage the motherboard. By investing in a simple cooling pad, you're not just ensuring better performance in the short term, you're also helping to extend the overall lifespan of your expensive machine. It's a relatively inexpensive accessory that can unlock the full potential of the computer you already own. You paid for a certain level of performance when you bought your laptop, but thermal throttling might be preventing you from actually using it. A cooling pad helps you get what you paid for, ensuring your machine runs as well in the 4th hour of work as it did in the first. So if you notice your laptop getting hot to the touch or find that it starts to slow down after you've been working for a while, a cooling pad is a simple, effective, and affordable solution. It keeps your hardware cool, your performance consistent, and your posture better. It's a foundational accessory for anyone who relies on a laptop for serious, long-duration work. It's the unsung hero of the productive desktop setup. We've covered focus, time, data, and performance. The final piece of the puzzle is the primary way we interact with our computers, the keyboard. For anyone who spends a significant amount of time typing, writers, programmers, students, office workers, the keyboard is not just an input device, it's a fundamental tool of the trade. And this is where our fifth gadget, the mechanical keyboard, makes a huge difference. Most laptops and standard office keyboards use what's called a membrane or scissor switch design. You press a key, and a rubber dome underneath collapses to complete a circuit. It's cheap to manufacture and allows for a very thin profile, but it can feel mushy, imprecise, and unsatisfying to type on. It gets the job done, but it's rarely a pleasure to use for long periods. A mechanical keyboard, on the other hand, uses individual mechanical switches under each key. When you press a key, you're physically actuating a spring-loaded switch. This provides a level of tactile and auditory feedback that membrane keyboards simply can't replicate. Each keystroke feels more deliberate, more precise, and frankly more satisfying. This isn't just about feel, it can have a real impact on your typing. The improved feedback can lead to faster and more accurate typing, because you can feel the exact point at which the key press is registered, the actuation point. You can learn to type with a lighter touch and don't have to bottom out each key. This can increase your words per minute and reduce typos, as you're less likely to miss or double press keys. It makes the physical act of writing smoother and more efficient. Comfort and ergonomics are another huge benefit. The mushy feeling of a membrane keyboard can lead to finger fatigue over long typing sessions. The crisp, clean action of mechanical switches often requires less force and feels less strenuous on the hands and fingers. For someone who types for hours a day, this can be the difference between finishing the day with sore hands and feeling comfortable. One of the coolest things about mechanical keyboards is the sheer variety of switches available. They are often color-coded like Cherry MX reds, browns, or blues, and each type offers a different feel. Linear switches, like reds, are smooth all the way down. Tactile switches, like browns, have a noticeable bump at the actuation point. Clicky switches, like blues, have that same bump, plus an audible click. This allows you to choose a keyboard that perfectly matches your typing preference. The durability is also on another level. A typical membrane keyboard is rated for around 5 to 10 million keystrokes. A good mechanical switch is rated for 50 million keystrokes or more. These things are built to last. They are often heavier, with metal frames, so they don't slide around on your desk. They feel like a substantial professional-grade tool, because that's what they are. Yes, they can be louder than membrane keyboards, especially the clicky ones. If you work in a shared or quiet office, you might want to opt for a tactile or linear switch, perhaps with O-rings to dampen the sound of the keycap bottoming out. But for a home office, that satisfying clack can be part of the appeal, a soundtrack to your productivity. It's a very personal choice. The customizability is a whole world unto itself. You can change the keycaps to different colors, profiles, and materials. On some keyboards, you can even swap out the switches themselves without any soldering. This allows you to create a keyboard that is perfectly tailored to your aesthetic and functional needs. It becomes a personal statement piece on your desk, not just a generic peripheral. Ultimately, switching to a mechanical keyboard is an investment in the quality of your primary interaction with your computer. It can make typing faster, more accurate, more comfortable, and significantly more enjoyable. It turns a mundane task into a satisfying tactile experience. If your job involves a lot of typing, upgrading your keyboard is one of the most direct and impactful changes you can make to your daily workflow. It's the final touch that makes a setup feel truly complete. So there you have it, 5 gadgets that have made a real, tangible difference in my productivity. We've got noise-canceling headphones to protect our focus, a smartwatch to manage our time, a portable SSD for fast and secure data, a cooling pad to maintain performance, and a mechanical keyboard to improve our primary input. None of these are magic bullets on their own, but together, they form a cohesive system. They work in concert to remove friction, reduce distractions, and create an environment where you can do your best work more consistently. The main takeaway here isn't that you need to go out and buy these exact 5 things. The point is to be intentional about your setup. Think about your own workflow, identify your personal bottlenecks and sources of friction, and then look for the tools that can help solve those specific problems. Your perfect productivity setup might look a little different from mine, and that's exactly how it should be. It's all about personal optimization and finding what works for you. The goal is to build a system where your tools support you, rather than you having to fight against them. I'm genuinely curious to hear what's working for you. What are the essential gadgets in your productivity toolkit? Are there any game changers I missed that you think should be on this list? Building the perfect setup is an ongoing process of discovery and refinement, and we can all learn from each other's experiences. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Which gadget do you already use? Comment below and subscribe.